Rocco is showing you?
No, yeah.
No.
Is that on the back?
Ford F-550 with a...
I gave it to Tim.
Yeah. You want to trade in the new one and get?
No, just on top of it.
Love it.
Just for you.
Thank you.
You want to trade in the truck you haven't received yet?
No.
Okay, good.
Anyway, smelling right.
I am so sorry.
Okay. Well, you tell me then when we're ready. We'll let Chrissy get settled in.
Right, that's what I thought.
Hi.
Hi, so sorry.
Don't be sorry. We're glad you're here.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay. Okay. We'll call to order the council meeting for April 27th of 2026 at 5:31 p.m. If you'll rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you please call the roll?
Counselor Malmberg.
Here.
Counselor Gelada.
Here.
Counselor Martin. Counselor Fulton.
Here.
Mayor Pereira.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, moving on to item letter D, oral request and communications from the audience. I do have one form here, so I'll go ahead and read the public comment notice. This is a time for public comment if you have turned in a public comment form to the city recorder.
50 frame.
Comments are limited to 5 minutes. This is not a time for discussion. Council is not able to provide immediate answer or response. The city manager may direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comment or questions if provided with contact information on the form. Before you make your comment, please state your name and address for the record. And we have here Jamie Bat. Okay. Please go ahead and feel free to come to the stand.
Council members, Mayor, Mr. Rundell, thank you guys for seeing me today. I wanted to just to discuss or speak of the SDC credits and SDC waivers. I think last time, it was probably a month or so ago that we discussed that or brought it to your attention. We have started our fourplex project. We're about halfway through. Actually, we just finished framing and siding, so it looks really well. As I had mentioned, we were starting that project regardless of whether we had the credits or not. The credits do make the project more equitable for the investor, which then really helps him determine what he can actually rent those properties for to actually make the investment make sense. So obviously those credits are still desired to make that project more equitable for the investor, because eventually he's going to want to invest more if we can make it work. The other project that we're working on is literally right next door. It's actually twice the size. If we can come, or if we're able to get some assistance, it would be 8 units versus 4. A mixture of 2-bedroom, 2-bath units and studios, which would bring a little bit more affordable housing for residents here in town. But I can tell you that unfortunately that project would not get off the ground without any kind of SDC credits or waivers. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. No more comments? Okay. Then we'll proceed on to item letter E, consent calendar. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
I'll move to accept the consent calendar.
I second the motion.
Call to question?
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Gelada.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Yes.
Mayor Pereira.
Yes.
The motion carries.
We'll move on to item letter F, staff reports, public hearings, ordinances, resolutions, and final orders. We'll begin with number 1, and that is for the 2002 E1 engine refurbishment.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. We're here before you this evening with a recommendation to authorize the fire department to have their 2002 E1 engine number 6201 refurbished by Fire Trucks Unlimited for $312,228, and to authorize the finance director to enter into a financing agreement for this vehicle refurbishment. As some of you may remember, Councilor Gelada, you were not here during the budget this previous year, but this was brought before the council, and at that time the council did approve it to be added to this year's budget. But just as a refresher, are you going to do it?
Refresher
For why we're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go ahead and let Chief Lee just kind of briefly hit on some of the high points as to why we're doing the refurbishment.
So the reason for the refurb is this engine is 24 years old right now, and they usually have a typical lifespan of 20 years. And it's starting to wear down and get old. It's starting to show its age. So the reason for the refurb is to take care of all that. It'll get new paint, new interior. When it comes back, it'll be a new truck instead of what we got sitting over there now. And comparatively, for the refurb compared to a new one, if we went and ordered a brand new engine, comparable to what we have sitting over there right now, is going to be close to 1.5 million for the same truck. So that's the thought behind the refurb. We gain another 15, 20 years out of it. I mean, it's a good running truck, passes all its inspections and pump testing every year. So we'd rather refurb it than have to try to buy a brand new one.
Chief, you might want to expand a little bit. You talked about what the exterior is going to be, but talk a little bit about the engine and everything else that's going to be done.
So they'll go through everything. It's going to be a cab off, box off refurb. Everything gets stripped down. They'll pull the cab off, they'll pull the rear box off, and it all gets repainted. All the diamond plate gets redone. They'll go through the pump itself and replace any seals that are leaking. They'll go through all the plumbing for the pump and make sure it's good. If it's not, then they'll replace what they need to replace. They inspect the frame, make sure we don't have any cracks or wears in it that will need to be repaired. Any wiring that is damaged or not working, they replace. All new brakes, front and rear, the entire system gets replaced. The fuel system will get replaced. And I think that's pretty much it, because we've already had the light package done.
Engine rebuild, what do they, I mean, it probably doesn't have a lot of miles on it.
The
based on
engine
its-
rebuild,
I mean, do they?
they're not, no, they'll test it and make sure everything's good to go. They'll take a look at it and then let us know if it needs anything. So far, we haven't had an engine problem with that engine at all. It's just, you know, so I don't foresee any major engine issues coming up. So it should be a pretty simple process for them to go through and refurb this thing.
What type of fuel do those run on?
Diesel.
It's diesel.
Yep. The whole interior gets replaced, new seats, new floor. So,
And is it paid for this budgetary cycle?
In this current
Yeah,
year. Yes.
Even though the
yeah.
work's not going on for some time, okay?
Correct. When we came to the council last year during the budget process, there was money that was budgeted for the refurbishments of this apparatus. because of things at the fire department and just staffing and other things that have kept us busy over there, it's kind of delayed some of the process. We've also had challenges trying to get quotes back from different companies that do refurbishments, not just new builds. Also companies that were on purchase agreements rather than ones that weren't on purchase agreements. And so through that process, we found 4 of them that rather reached out to 4 of them that we found, 3 of which qualified under all of that. One is Fire Trucks Unlimited in Nevada. One is U.S. Fire Equipment in Washington, Burton's in California, and then a local one, Hughes, which is in Eugene. Hughes also is the one that does our yearly vehicle inspections and maintenance. And so we have a good relationship with them. The 2 that did return quotes to us for this, bids for it, was Fire Trucks Unlimited and U.S. Fire Equipment. Burton's did not. They're also not on a purchase agreement. Hughes is on a purchase agreement, but because of their capacity right now, they said they were unable to give us a bid, and unsolicited recommended we go with Fire Trucks Unlimited because of the working relationship they have with them. So that is one consideration that we gave to it. And through that, one change, as Captain Lee mentioned, because of the, Chief Lee.
I got demoted again.
So Chief Lee mentioned that when we came before the council last year, the emergency lighting on the fire truck was a priority, and there were many lights that were out on it. And so what we did is, while this has all been going on, we did go out and went through the process and had Cascade Fire Equipment out of White City come over and replace all of the emergency lighting on the truck, which was less expensive than the refurbishment companies would do it for. Plus, they came over to us and did it in our bay over just over 2 days. So it didn't require having to drive the truck anywhere or do anything like that. And it actually came out to be a savings of approximately $9,000 out of what had been budgeted for this year. The total amount, as I said in there, read in there, through Fire Trucks Unlimited, which is the one that we recommend, is $312,228. U.S. Fire Equipment was the only other one who provided us a quote, $264,500. It is a significant difference, but the procurement policy does make it permissible for us to be able to request a bid that's not the lowest bid if there are concerns or questions about the quality of work or warranty, things like that. And in the council report here, we do mention some things that I'll let either one of you talk about. A recommendation from a local fire chief who had 2 identical trucks refurbished, one at each, and then some of what Hugh said.
Yeah, in the initial process, I had a conversation with Chief Snedden from Charleston Fire. We talked for 15 or 20 minutes. He had 2 identical engines that came to their department. They were both used engines. They sent them both out to get refurbished, one to U.S. Fire Equipment, one to Fire Trucks Unlimited. He said Fire Trucks Unlimited did an amazing job. Everything came back exactly the way they wanted. They were informed throughout the process. He said he wouldn't recommend using U.S. Fire Equipment. It came back with multiple problems, and they actually ended up having to go with another company finally to work through those problems. We also, like Chief said, had a conversation with Hughes. They said that just at this time they can't get the work done. They gave a great recommendation for Fire Trucks Unlimited. Said that they've worked with them dozens of times, never had any issues. Really responsive, speaking with them, and they said they couldn't give a higher recommendation for them, so. And that is who does all of our servicing. They were actually the ones that pointed out that our engine was a good candidate for refurbishment rather than replacement. So they know that engine really well as well.
And at least in our dealings with the two companies to this point, Fire Trucks Unlimited has been the one of the two that's been much more responsive and has gotten us things the first time we asked for it and correctly. So at least in our limited experience with them, we also feel that it would be money better spent with Fire Trucks Unlimited. I think that's what we have to. Are there any questions?
Well, I just want to say I appreciate how much that you're thinking about the total overall amount. We're even saving money, the citizens' money, obviously. And also that you're looking really for the company that's going to do the job, that we don't have to then go back and make other corrections that might be even more expensive and we have to pull into other places. So I appreciate your guys' work. Of course, everything that you guys do is life-saving, and that is above all, our citizens' lives are the most important. So we thank you so much for doing what you do. I love it.
And I'll add one thing. There was a question about the timing of everything. The next window for refurbishment is December. And so if past this evening, tomorrow, we would contact the company to be able to get a slot reserved for December. It's approximately a 5-month refurbishment period. So depending on when it were to start in December, we would expect it back around the May timeframe, which as far as fire season goes is perfect because it's outside of the fire season. And as was mentioned in here, we do have the Type 3 that we got on the grant from the Oregon State Fire Marshal's office last year that will be moved from Upper Chetco down here to cover calls while that truck is being refurbished.
No, it's important to pay attention to those red flags, right? It's not just the money, to pay less to get a poorer job. Makes no sense. So, and recommendations are key.
Yeah, I think it makes sense too. For about a quarter of the cost of a new one, we're going to get another, 15 or hopefully 20 years out of it. So just makes a lot of sense financially to refurbish the one that we have if it's in good working order.
Yeah, I echo all those comments. Much of what was said was what was already on my mind, and I appreciate the very thorough staff report. Everything you covered here was explained very well. I too appreciate that we aren't just looking at the bottom line number of what's lowest, but what is really going to be the best utilized of the dollars that we have. So I'm grateful for that thought in detail, and again for looking at this option that's an enormous savings and stretches our dollars so much farther. So I appreciate all that. Any further questions or discussion? Do I have a motion?
I motion to authorize the fire department to have the 2002 E1 engine number 6201 refurbished by Fire Trucks Unlimited for $312,228, and to authorize the finance director to enter into a financing agreement for this vehicle refurbishment.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Call the question?
Counselor Colton.
Yes.
Counselor Talala.
Yes.
Counselor Holmwood.
Yes.
Mayor Ruth.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Jim.
moving on to item 2, South Coast Community Aquatics Pool Management Agreement Extension. We'll give them a, yeah.
Tony, let me get the chair for you, okay? Please, have a seat. Thanks, Mike. All right, thank you. You may recall in the spring of 2023, the city entered into an MOU with South Coast Community Aquatics to operate the municipal pool to gain a full understanding in pool operations to potentially operate the pool in the future. This would ultimately benefit the city and the community by providing a management structure that would require fewer city resources and potentially lengthen the pool season under SCCA management. Council's consensus was to move forward with the SCCA pool management agreement for the 2024 season. Council approved a management contract extension in 2025 in the amount of $150,000 for operational costs, with the ability to request additional funds if the cost exceeded that amount due to uncontrollable circumstances. The city will consider, for which the city would consider in good faith. SCCA is actively applying for grants to cover the additional 8,000 requests for the standard 3-month season, as well as additional 70 requests for the 6-month season extension. Staff recommends council authorize city manager to execute a management agreement for the 2026 season in the amount of $150,000. And this is a 6-month season for this 2026 season. And we have Val here with SCCA, if you have any questions for her.
And it was not a 6-month season last year?
Last year, there was an extended season, which was why there was a little bit more money involved in it that time. But they did apply for grants and cover some of the costs on their side.
So then why only a 6-month season this year?
I'll let her answer that question.
Okay.
Val, would you like to come up to the podium?
Hi, good evening, council, mayor. We did have a 6-month season last year. We opened on the 1st of May and we closed at the end of October. So we were able to do that. We were able to realize several $1,000s in grants. Some of those were infrastructure grants and some of those were operational grants. So the total that we received last year in grant funding was around $55,000. And then also we had community donations of $16,000. Those were local community members who just made donations to the pool operations. And so that helped with bottom line also. We drew funds from the city last year of $100,000. Our fiscal year is different than your fiscal year, so there's a little bit of a wonky situation there, but that's what we are planning for this year. We are applying for, right now, Three Rivers Foundation grants. We're applying for the Judith Ann Warren Foundation, the Chetco Health Foundation, Roundhouse, Reeser Foundation, and a new grant that we've been approached about applying for, and that's the Melissa Lamford Foundation. So very, very active. My one for the Three Rivers Foundation is due this week. So, and we have some, I know I told you quite a bit when I was here before, but we've got some kind of exciting stuff going on right now. We've got a lap swim challenge that's going to be happening in May. And so people can sign up for that and pledge to swim 5 miles during the month of May. And then we've got online lesson signups that our new assistant manager and manager have put together so that people can sign up for lessons online without having to come to the pool for that. Should increase that. And then right now we're running a discount on our yearly passes, and we've already had a robust sign up happening. So we're hoping to increase the revenue that the pool brings in just from those activities through those improvements in processes. So. Any other questions?
Well, one of my questions you already answered. I was looking through the financial statement and trying to understand, but because you explained the fiscal year piece in the 100,000, I was wondering where the city's revenue piece is plugged into your financial statements. And then my other question was trying to, for council's sake and the public's sake, understand as far as the expenses and revenue, why some are allocated to the swimming pool and why some are allocated to the organization specifically.
Well, the organization is the 501c3 arm of the pool management, and so that's the organization that applies for all the grants.
Okay.
And so depending on where they are distributed, whether it's operational grants for the pool operations or whether they are infrastructure grants we have to keep them separate for the grant funders.
Great, thank you for that clarification. I wanted to just say how grateful I am for the work that you guys do. You consistently come and provide clarity and transparency for what's happening. All of the work that you guys are doing to go out and solicit grants and the value that you're always seeking to add to the residents in figuring out new programs and trying to hire well-qualified staff. So I wanted to take this time as an opportunity to thank you for that, because it adds a great deal of value, and you guys have the passion for it and the expertise for it that our staff that are always spread thin don't have the amount of time to dedicate to this that you do and the volunteer organization does. So I am very grateful for the value that you add to our community.
Thank you. I will tell you that we did already hold our very first lifeguard training. And so we certified 9 lifeguards already. And so we have our workforce already started. We also have lifeguard instructor training being hosted at the Brookings pool this weekend. So those are pretty exciting events, and so more workforce development. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Well, if we have nothing else for Ms. Early or staff, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I motion to authorize the city manager to extend the management agreement with South Coast Community Aquatics to operate the Brookings Municipal Pool during the 2026 season for a total of $150,000.
I second excitedly.
Call the question.
Counselor Talala.
Yes.
Counselor Mulder.
Yes.
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Mayor Freitas.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay. We will move on to item 3, public meeting for USDA Rural Development Grant application.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is one of our things that we have to do for the funding that we have discussed in the past. We were selected, thankfully, to receive $1 million in federal funding through the community project funding, congressionally directed spending through the USDA Rural Development Water and Environmental Grant Program. The entire project is estimated to be $1,663,400, and the remaining balance of the project will be funded through a combination of water system replacement and water system development charges. To receive this congressionally directed funding, as I said, we must submit a formal application to the USDA Rural Development, and after submittal, a public meeting is required to present the project, review the budget, and receive public comment. This meeting is being held to meet that requirement and gather input on the proposed project and financing plan. The Easy Street Water Line Replacement Project is a high priority improvement identified in the city's water master plan. The project will replace aging and undersized water infrastructure along Easy Street between Mardon Court and Fern Avenue. The existing line includes older 6-inch cast iron and asbestos cement pipe that has experienced repeated leaks and is inadequate for current operational and fire flow needs. The project will replace approximately 2,950 linear feet of existing water line with new 12-inch PVC water main, replace fire hydrants, upgrade water services with new touch-read meter boxes, and create a loop section of system, improve pressure and fire flow, reduce maintenance needs, and improve overall system reliability. And as I said, the engineer's estimate for the project is just over $1.6 million. We're hoping that comes in less than that. We've been pretty thankful that some of these estimates have come in high. So I want to thank Representative Val Hoyle's office for moving this forward congressionally. The funding is already approved. This is just a process where we welcome any public input on the project and any questions that you might have about the project. Ironically, Tim and I met the head of USDA of Oregon today and got to give him a tour of our projects, and he was also interested in learning more about another project that we've just submitted. So with that, I welcome any questions and opportunity for public to comment.
Are you still expected to start construction this summer? And about duration? Do you know?
I don't believe it will start this summer. I mean, we still have to do design work. They're out there surveying.
Okay, it was listed in here. Yeah, I don't know how old the overall schedule was, but
Yeah, I'm not sure what the timeframe would be on it. It could be more fall, I would think, after design is finished.
in a months-long construction effort.
It's an expensive project, probably a month and a half, 2 months probably.
I think our original schedule that we put forward, we were a little ambitious. We didn't realize that we still had a pretty significant USDA application process to go through. So that application has not been finalized yet. This is part of that process. But I think compared to some of our other projects, it's pretty straightforward. So hopefully the design component of this will move forward fairly quickly. And I know Chief Lee was actually submitted a letter of recommendation on this original ask, and just noted how this is a concern, not having this fire flow capacity, along with, obviously, we've got the schools at one end of this line. So it's a very important project that we've had on our master plan for quite some time, but we just didn't have that extra amount of money to make this move forward. So we're very thankful for this to happen.
Have we identified what funding source would be responsible for the matching portion in the cities?
Yes, we have funding available both in our water system development charges and our water system replacement fees. Water system development charges are very specific in their use, and so we'll have to wait for the final design because those can only apply to the upsizing or the improvement of it, where the system replacement funds can be for any of the project. So we do have funding available in both of those funds to help cover the remainder of this project. And
Well, I'll just say thank you so much for the city's leadership and building great relationships, mostly in case we get another one. You just never know. So, and that's really important in life, no matter what. So thank you very much for doing that and for checking all the boxes, just knowing grants are so specific on what is required, and you guys are you're doing it, checking the boxes, making sure everything's done so we don't wind up on the wrong end at some point in time. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you. And when we met with Director Carmack this afternoon and we're driving him around, Wendy had mentioned to him that we put in for another grant. And he goes, I think he said, the chlorine injection. So he already knew that. So again, it's very important, like you said, to keep it out in the forefront and build those relationships as well. So.
Excellent.
I also am super grateful for that. It does make a difference when you build those relationships and you have that FaceTime. And so I thank you for those efforts. And it's exciting to be able to proceed with this. Obviously, this project's been in line for a long time. And to be able to proceed with that because of those federal funding dollars and to have a staff member on board who's able to do the hard work of managing that. The application's the easy part, right? The management of it, especially I know with federal funding. So thank you for your time and your energy on that. And I want to open it up to public questions or comments. That's part of this process. So if anybody would like to come to the podium, please do. I guess we have none. So let's see. We have some. I can? Okay. All right, I guess we did well enough by asking for the public comment, and we have no public comment, so we can close that portion. It's 6:04. And I guess if there's any further discussion or question, we can move on to that. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I don't think this one.
Is there a motion?
Oh, there's a motion.
I think it's just a public, yeah.
There we go. Well, okay, there we go.
I double checked with USDA on that. I said, are you sure?
Okay, good to know. Absolutely. All right, then with that done, we'll move on to item 4, Tidewater Reservoir land purchase.
Thank you, Mayor Peretta, members of council. So this it's not deja vu. This is sort of a repeat. We're doing this again for 2 primary reasons. One, after review with the city attorney and the property owner and their attorney, it came to light that they would like to use a different type of sale agreement. So we had to, our city attorney, Lori Cooper, suggested that we just bring this back to council with a new resolution. So the 2 changes are that we're using a bargain and sale deed containing covenants against Grantors Act, and then there's additional $3,000 for closing costs that I've added into the financial impact from $22,000. But this is we've been going through the process of purchasing a parcel of land that currently has a small concrete above ground reservoir. We call it the Tidewater Reservoir. We're still trying to determine how it ended up that way. I think the owner of Tidewater back in the day built it. That's why it's been called that. So anyway, this reservoir is undersized, it's old, it's leaking, and doesn't provide adequate fire flow to the neighborhood in that area. So the plan is to build 2 74,000 gallon reservoirs. We're going to plan for 2, but build 1 right now and build 1 later in the same location that the existing one is now. So we'll build 1, take the other one offline, demo the old one, and then build a new one there in the future. So I don't really have anything other than that. If you have any questions about the changes, feel free to ask. And I apologize, I didn't include the exhibit which showed the parcel map, so I think you guys have a copy of that now. It kind of gives you an idea. Before this land, we're currently right now, this reservoir is just sitting on private property. We don't even have an easement for it. So this process we had to go through in order to get the funding, which was through Safe Drinking Water Revolving Loan Fund, which is a Business Oregon loan that we got back in 2021. We've already completed many of the projects. This is sort of the last project of all of them. And the reason this has taken so long is seismic standards changed about midway through design, and it extended quite a bit of time onto geotech, drillers, just design changed quite a bit for this. So it's been a long process, but it's nice to see that we're getting closer. So.
What's the estimated time frame to getting the second one? Just a general kind of idea. Are we a year out, 5 years out, 10 years out?
The issue with having 2 large reservoirs like that is stagnation. So we don't think that the second reservoir will actually get constructed until there's more users up there. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to have water sitting in a tank that goes stagnant. So we're just going to stay with the 74,000. But we're going to design the site and actually do the foundation subgrade prep for the second one. So it's all done during this project, and then at that point we're just pouring a foundation and building a new tank. So I don't know what the time frame would be, though. It really kind of depends on build out of that area up there.
It's really helpful to know that we're not just planning for what our needs are now, but looking forward into the future. So thank you for that information.
And so part of this is buying the land where the existing reservoir already is?
Currently we just went through the process, land use application process, to get it partitioned. Now we're in the process of purchasing the land.
from them.
And this has been approved previously.
Yeah, I brought it to you guys a couple months ago, and like I say, after further discussion and review of the type of agreement, they wanted to change it. And
I don't have any more questions. I know we talked about this before, so. Yep.
So then do we have a motion?
I'll move to adopt Resolution 26-R-1290 and authorize the city manager to execute a real estate purchase agreement with George and Cassie Fitzhugh in the amount of $22,000 for the purchase of a small parcel of land for the construction of 2 new 74,000-gallon drinking water reservoirs.
A second? I'll second. Call the question?
Counselor Longford.
Yes.
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Joanna.
Yes.
Mayor Freda.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 5, ODOT Safe Routes to School.
Thank you. The city was awarded a ODOT Safe Routes to School grant in 2020 in the amount of $796,140. That included partial street surface work, stormwater improvements, curb gutter and sidewalk along Fern Avenue from Ransom Avenue to the intersection of Fern and Elk, and improvements on Checo Avenue at 5th and Pacific. The work on Checo Avenue at 5th and Pacific is the final segment of the 2021 SRTS grant program, or 2020 SRTS grant program projects awarded to the city. There are currently no curbs, gutters, sidewalks. I'm going to eliminate that. That's an old portion. Total SRTS grant award, again, was $1.796 million, requiring a 20% match to be provided by the city, the school district, and ODOT. The project was divided into 3 segments. Segment 1 included Fern Avenue from Ransom to Easy Street. The match for that segment was provided by through a deferred improvement agreement between the city and the school district back when they did improvements in, I think it was 2001. They had to sign a deferred improvement agreement with the city. So we were able to roll that into this project, which helped on the match. And then the portion in front of the high school, the city provided the match for that. The portion that's out here on Checo Avenue and Pacific are actually, the match is provided by ODOT. So this last portion of the phase, even though the money is funneling through us and we're paying the bills, we're going to get 100% reimbursement from that. So again, this is the last phase of that. We received bids. Dyer put out a bid package for this, and we received bids. We attached as a recommendation from Dyer Partnership. It has a bid tabulation of what the bids were. We had 3. The lowest bidder was Tidewater at $752,150. So staff is recommending awarding the Checo Avenue Segment 3 of the project to the low bidder Tidewater Contractors. Any questions?
I appreciate the additional information you provided through email. I don't know if you have the opportunity maybe to send the plan set, just kind of get a visual of where some of the work's occurring and stuff. But yeah, I look forward to seeing more improvements on our sidewalks and hopefully improve safety for our kiddos getting to school. So it's a great project. I'm glad to see that we're moving forward with it.
I have no comments. No.
Yeah, I appreciated those, just the details of that contract, and I'm really grateful that Dryer has combed through those and gone through all of that on our behalf, and provided their recommendation to us. So if there's no further comments or questions, do I have a motion?
I authorize the city manager to enter in an agreement with Tidewater Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $752,151 for the Safe Routes to Schools Segment 3 Checo Avenue Improvement Project.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
We second. Yes.
Call the question?
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Joanna.
Yes.
Counselor Longford.
Yes.
Mayor Freda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay. With that, we are all done with business, and we can remove to item G, remarks from mayor, councilors, and city manager.
The only thing I would say is summer is coming upon us, so please, all citizens, drive carefully. I've noticed a definite uptick in vehicles on the roads, and so just everyone keep themselves safe.
I'd just like to echo what Wendy had said with our meeting today with Mr. Carmack with the USDA and getting his input on the projects that we've got. And like she said, you know, building those relationships. We took him out to the wastewater treatment facility. He was pretty blown away with the views, first of all. And then second of all, Dustin did a really good job in explaining to him what the funding is going to go for. And like I said, I think he was pretty impressed with, you know, with what we got and what we're getting ready to do. I think starting in a couple weeks, we're looking at.
Can you explain to the audience who Dustin is?
Dustin is the wastewater operator for the wastewater treatment facility. He's also manages our water system as well with Jacobs. When did they get the contract? Jacobs? Is it 2000?
It's pretty.
18?
Yeah, 18, yeah.
2018. But he's a wealth of knowledge. And and if you ever want to, like I said, I know some of the council here have gone out and taken the tour of the wastewater treatment facility and the water treatment facility as well. But he's got a wealth of knowledge, and he was explaining to Mr. Carmack, but if you give us this much money, we can do this and this and this. And I was like, calm down, Dustin. Let's just get through this one first. So, but anyway, but he does a great job out there in maintaining the facility, and he's been extremely patient and waiting. But I know he is very excited about getting this project up off the ground and getting it done. And we're excited. We also took Mr. Carmack out in our Ford Lightning, went down. We didn't go at lightning speeds though. But we went out and we showed him where the Lone Ranch addition's going and some of the other things. So I could tell, like I said, he was very impressed, and he also relayed some information to us on the private sector that they do some, business loans and development loans for certain industries, and so excited to hear that as well. So, but anyway, I think he's staying here and tonight, and he's out of Bend, so it's a little bit of a drive. So that's it.
Thank you.
I appreciate all the hard work that the city continues to do aggressively going after some of these grants. I know that they're very competitive often, and it's very time consuming to apply for these grants, and often even more time consuming to manage the grants once we get them. So really appreciate the work that the Public Works Department does and that Wendy does, and Tim as well. And I know that you guys are all work together as a team to go after those, and I want you to know that I really appreciate it. It was something that was sort of lacking before. We had staff, but they had to spread their time amongst a lot of things, and so having a dedicated person to assist with that's really, I think, paid dividends and helping us to improve our infrastructure. So,
with big projects like this, you can really see that coming to fruition, all using that grant money.
Did you have anything else? I was in Pendleton this last week for the LFC conference, and it was a great time with a lot of really good connections, and some specifically around things we've been frequently discussing. So I'll look forward to sharing more about that in the coming days. And then I wanted to actually take a moment to welcome the newest Brookings resident. My son and his wife are currently in Grants Pass and have delivered their baby. So Brookings now has a new member of the community. I was hoping that would happen before we concluded. So hopefully I've not been too distracted.
Get out there and change. Get out there and change the sign.
That's right.
So add one.
So, yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this community and to work for the future of my children and my grandchildren, and am very grateful to be a part and grateful for the people that live here and call this home. So I think if nobody else has any questions, we will close at 6.